Hey everybody, welcome to Caliente Tech Talk. I am Service Manager Derek, and I've got with me...
Master Tech Phil.
Oh, he's a Master Tech now, congratulations.
Today.
Shop Foreman Chris.
Oh, and he's... Everybody's getting promoted. He just dropped the shop
Throwing it out
foreman.
there.
Wow.
And Master Tech.
And
if I had him, if I can't drop my mic, he'll yell at me.
and then the voice is Dr.
Know it all.
PH.
If we're just adding titles.
I don't have a title.
Well, the voice is back there running things. And marketing department, hear it for the marketing. Yeah, that's about right. That's what we hear from them all the time.
Yep.
Welcome to Tech Talk, everybody. There's some noise in the background. All right, we're here to answer some questions and talk about some comments that have come in. We're always excited to have these discussions. Thank you for tuning in and watching, and please make your comments and questions wherever you put those. I'm not sure, but I'm sure they'll blast you with where you can do that.
And just
We are.
hit that like button. And maybe the subscribe button.
Is that a? Oh, that's still a
that is
thing.
it.
Yeah, that's still a thing.
Like and subscribe.
Like
See,
and subscribe.
he's the youngster
we
in
can-
the group.
youngster.
So we can bring you more.
I was going to
Talks.
give you our mailing address, but apparently that's not a thing anymore.
Box.
P.O. Box care
We
of.
give them a mailing address and they can come visit us anytime they want to. They can come watch us. Watch
Come
Derek
on
work.
No, don't watch me work. Watch them work. Their
Watch
work's
Derek
interesting.
sit at a desk and type on a computer. Yay.
Yeah, super exciting.
Come bother him as much as you want. Drink all his beer.
Let's get to our comments and questions. How about that? Our first
Snippy.
our first question that came in for today is, what is your take on lithium batteries? Guys?
Don't do it.
Wow, okay.
Stay with the OEM.
Wow.
Look
But
at him.
I don't have an opinion, really. I think if that's the way you want to go, I wouldn't expect any more out of your expensive lithium battery than you're going to get out of your
I was gonna say I think
AGM.
it's more,
But you need to maintain it differently.
that's-
that's the
That's
biggest
the
thing.
big thing. Don't let them discharge.
Yes.
I was gonna say I almost think of it as more, especially on the motorcycle side, more as a weight.
The
loss.
weight savings
Weight
is
reduction
insane.
is massive.
Oh, it's insane. Oh, I love changing them out. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But I change them out, I feel like, just as much as I do OEM batteries.
But I don't know if people realize that you need a different charger for them,
You
like
have to
with
have
your
a
maintenance
lithium charger,
charger,
yep.
because they actually charge to a higher level
Higher.
than a glass mat. So
And that's everything you can learn from your service riders or your technicians. And
Come in and ask
we
for
would
Derek. He
love
can explain it to you.
to talk to you about battery maintenance.
I had discussed many moons ago with a battery manufacturer about them, and this may not be true anymore, but it said they work really well in everyday rider bikes that are in pretty, normal stock trims. When you start adding on a bunch of powered components like big stereos and amplifiers, and you're not riding the bike as often, that the lithiums don't like that as well.
Makes sense.
He may have been blowing smoke, but it made sense to me. If you're riding a bike all the time as a commuter bike or traveling a lot, that they really like those. But I think the big thing was knowing you've got to have a different maintainer because of the different levels. If you use your standard one, it will still act like it's charging, but it will shut off way too soon at too low of a
And
voltage.
I could be wrong. You can buy the one that has the different types, right? You just hit the mode and it switches
That's
over
the one I
to-
have. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. On the
I
chargers.
can do the glass
Yeah.
mats.
So if
I
you
can
have
do-
multiple
Yeah.
bikes and don't have lithium in one and have lithium in the other, you can just switch it up and just make sure you switch it over to the
Change the
lithium
packs,
or
change
switch it
switch.
over to
Yeah.
the...
The weight savings is insane.
It's
Yeah,
significant.
you can't even
I mean,
feel it. It's
I wish all my test batteries were lithium.
Yeah, that is nice. Okay, so that covers my thoughts on lithium. You got any other
I
additions
wish
on
we had more of
lithiums?
an opinion, but it's personal preference,
Personal preference.
and they're significantly more expensive.
So the next question we've got from out in the world, if doing a stage 2 on a Milwaukee 8, specifically a 2018 Milwaukee 8, should you go ahead and swap out the oil pump as well? Yes, especially a 2018 with the original oil pump. But if I'm in that cam compartment for any reason,
If I'm putting any cams in, I'm putting a high flow oil pump.
Yeah.
in the cam plate.
Cam-
the Screaming Harley Screaming Eagle makes the billet cam plate and high flow oil pump for the Milwaukees, both the oil cooled and the water cooled. Yes,
Yeah.
always
Upgrade-
do that.
Upgrade everything.
I
in
recommend that
template.
setup on all of them. There's some aftermarket ones out there. We've done the fueling ones, the S&S.
Yeah.
Fueling's a great
Yeah,
product,
you
but
don't-
the Harley one works fantastic. I've
Fantastic.
had no issues with those.
Nope.
The sumping issue's been addressed. That's taken care of. We haven't seen that for years now, but these bikes live and die on oil flow. So getting one that has a better pump in there. So the stage 2 is a cam job. If you're not familiar with what that is, Harley has a power cam or a torque cam that can go in these bikes. You're pulling that cam plate out to do that job anyway. The pump is basically loose at that point. Here at our shop, we recommend that as an upgrade, and there's no additional labor to install that while you're doing the cam because we're in there anyway. So I always make that a recommendation. Additionally, the high capacity tappets, if stage 2s don't come with those,
We like
and
those.
they're not required, and neither is the pump and plate for small motors. But again, I'm like, why wouldn't you strengthen your valve train when you're not paying any more labor to do this stuff?
Especially if you start getting aggressive with your cam profiles.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a fact that you should do that.
Don't look at me. You're way beyond my comprehension.
So oil is what goes in the motors, man.
Yeah, like that. Yep, got that.
When you bring it to us, that's what we do to your bike.
It lubricates.
There's if you're ever getting a quote on motor stuff, the person quoting it to you should tell you what is basic, what's required, what's recommended. You get to make the choices. It's your machine that you got to live with. But usually, if you're talking to a technician or a service writer who's been dealing with it for a while, their recommendations are based on what they've seen in the real world.
Experience.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to tell you when I think something is gimmicky or when it's working for real, and the high flow oil pumps work for real.
Yes,
Work,
they do.
yes, especially with the M8s because they run hot, man. You gotta get that
And the
oil.
bigger the
You gotta
motor.
get that oil everywhere.
Do it with the twin cams and first generation of twin cams.
Oh, good
You
point.
Upgrade to the hydraulic pumps or the hydraulic cam plate. Gets rid of the
Spring tensioners.
adjusters exploding and destroying everything.
You
in the
just
cam
found
compartment.
out the stock one's obsolete on the 5 speeds, right?
Yeah, the stock one is absolutely it's obsolete. It upgrades you to the part number that does it's the kit now.
For the Screaming Eagle?
For the Screaming
yeah.
Eagle.
So you convert to the hydraulic tensioners anyway.
And pump. Yep.
Yeah, so
Oil pump and
if you don't know what we're talking about, back on the early twin cams, the 5-speed stuff, the tensioners on the cam chains were spring-loaded, and they were notorious for wearing out and causing major damage and destruction in the cam compartment. And in 07, they upgraded to a hydraulic setup, which lasted a lot longer, was less destructive if something went wrong.
Oh, when those go wrong, I mean, you're looking at cams, cam bearings,
Potentially.
potentially having
Potentially
to split
flywheel.
case.
Not to mention
splitting
you're
cases,
just sending metal flake all through the
All
motor,
through
which
the
is
motor.
always nice when you get the disco
having to
ball
use a
exploded in there.
slide hammer to get the oil pump off.
Yeah, nice.
I feel like Kirsten's just sitting there looking through like the books or something. She's like, the kid is superseded.
So, okay. So, for all you in Twitch world, you have access to the internet right now, and you're typing things in and asking questions to double check us and verify us. We don't have that ability. This is all from our minds, people that are watching named Kirsten.
That's a terrible idea.
So, but thank you if she's updating us on something. The supersede is to the Screaming Eagle. That's what he found out. That's what we talked about. So, all right. Yes, upgrade your stuff if you're in there anyway
What's
doing
the perfect stage 2?
What? Ooh, that is a part of the question, isn't it? What would be the perfect stage to perfect?
It's all what you're looking for,
I
though.
was gonna say, okay, so from a layman's standpoint,
Yeah.
isn't stage 2 like
Understatement.
already like? Well, thank you. Isn't stage 2 already like kind of cut and
Well,
dry?
No, it is not cut and
Well,
dry.
you're-
You're looking for torque. You're looking for peak horsepower.
Well, torque
you
and
wanna go-
horsepower, that's... I'm sorry, I'm shutting up.
You want to go really fast. You want to get there really fast. I mean, it's,
Yeah. Harley keeps it simple with a horsepower cam or a torque cam. That's a stage 2.
Yeah. If you stage.
Are we
with
only
Harley.
staying under the Harley umbrella, though?
No.
Because
The-
if your stage 2 is
world is your
basically just
oyster.
putting a cam in it, then oh my God. I know which cams we've been dropping in, and they've been working great for the non-warranty bikes.
Yeah, once your factory warranty's
So
out, you can.
let's go Harley Davidson Screaming Eagle.
'Kay.
Perfect stage 2 for Christopher.
I like to go from 0 to 80 really fast, so I'm going to go torque cam.
Yeah.
Yep. I think I would go torque cam as
I've
well.
aged out of doing 120 miles an hour consistently for long periods of time.
Okay.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
but I don't want to cruise at 110 miles an hour anymore. I just don't
True.
see the need.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Get that open road.
Unless
Get
you-
that stretch of I-10 where there's nothing on it.
Unless you're, in Big Bend.
And then you go to
A
80
couple
miles an
months
hour,
ago.
which is the speed limit.
Absolutely.
What about you? What's your perfect
Oh, I would do
stage 2?
torque. Torque all the way. I want to do wheelies and a bunch of...
Potentially burnouts.
That's always good stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, it depends on the bike.
Well,
If it's touring heavy bike, I'm a torque guy.
I was assuming. I was
Oh,
talking
you've
about
made an assumption.
2018 M8s is where my brain was.
Well, 2018, that could be Softail, because I dig the power cam in the Softail. It's just a lighter bike and rev it a little more and go, go, go. So am I on a lowrider ST, then I might go power. And if I'm on a big Road Glide, then I'm going to go torque.
Okay. When are they going to come out stage kits for the Rev Max?
Never.
I don't know if they
Dude,
You don't need
How
it.
good is it now?
I want better.
140 miles per hour, and you get there quickly.
And do you know?
Depending on the mode, change it. You feel
Yeah.
like going slow, put it in slow mode. You want to go
just
fast,
need
put it
to
in
I
fast.
stop
heard-
riding in sport mode and just ride in road, and then you just hit it to sport, and you're like,
me.
"Whoop."
Yeah, don't stay in sport mode.
I was gonna say it took me 5 weeks to realize that I was in sport mode.
Yeah,
and it
the
was
changes it
shattering my
makes.
spine.
Yeah, the changes it makes are
I've heard
aggressive.
tell of big boy twin cams getting whooped on by stock panel.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. So, but we're
What
talking.
What
perfect-
exhaust would you go with the Stage 2?
You know what? If I'm talking Milwaukee land, they've done a really good job making that stock header work and putting good slip-ons on to get some rumble out of it. But I'm with you. I'm not going
older
for
I
that
get-
crazy power and all the crazy noise.
The older I
So
get, the less noise I need.
you can't
guys.
answer a perfect question. You can't say
D-
perfect.
But
D
D
and
and
D.
D would
What
be
D
yes. If I'm-
and D.
Performance
You were a
cam,
D and D
I
performance
still
exhaust.
love D&D, but I'm
Performance
not.
exhaust
I just
D&D.
but if you're keeping it all warrantable and on the street, they've made it.
This
It's
is
not
a
like the first
2018.
generations of catalytic converter exhausts on the bikes where you had that.
This
And
guy asked us a personal question. That's all.
I'm not
trying to
answering
answer.
perfect. There's no such thing as perfect.
D&D.
What's the perfect anything? You can't answer that.
If you go back to Evo, you got to put Thunderheader
Support
on it.
Texas D&D if you live here in Texas.
I'm not hanging. I do some slip-ons and I'm good to go, man. I really.
I have Scream Eagle 2s on my 03.
My
and
Pan
I love
Am.
'em.
My Pan Am has well. Yeah, you're back in Screaming Eagle 2 days.
The
That's
best slip-ons they ever
Best
made.
slip-ons
That's a
ever
whole
made.
different world. I've got a Screaming Eagle slip-on on my Pan Am.
I do
Yeah,
too.
you do.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Not all of us went out of the, away from the main,
Oh, Super Trap, man. I'm bringing back the 80s.
Kirker wasn't available.
the voice has Super Track also.
I took
Super
5
Trap.
plates out.
So
So
you will burn your saddle.
to answer what is perfect is difficult
It's
because
personal,
it's up
very
to you.
personal.
It's very
Well, I was
personal.
going more with the 2018 because
All
he's
right,
out of
fine.
warranty.
Okay, well, do what you want.
Do what you want. Okay.
I like torque on big bikes, power on small bikes. Do we answer the question?
I
I think we
actually
did.
agree with that statement.
All right, we beat that
100%.
one down. So now let's get on to our subject tonight because I don't even think I brought up
We
what the
have a
subject
subject?
was. Yes, we do.
All right, sweet.
This is the big one.
This is the.
Oh, I remember this one. Okay.
Carburetors and fuel injection. I'm not necessarily asking for personal preference on which you prefer over the other, but just discussing through the Harley world carburetors and fuel
They
injection.
both have their place.
Okay, so tell me about their place.
So early fuel injection. If you have a bike.
How
with-
early?
Oh, we're talking about
Magnetic.
Magmars?
Magmars, man.
Two fuel rails.
Yep.
Don't buy it.
Personally, buy it,
Buy it cheap.
get rid
cheap.
of it, and put a carburetor on it.
Yeah, that's the best.
Make it run forever.
That's the best conversion you can do to a Magmar
Yeah.
is making it
Like
carbureted.
$1,500, $2,000.
You got to be careful though.
It
Depends
can't-
on the gas tank.
That's true.
Remember,
does,
if your
okay.
gas tank, I can't remember what year they changed it. If it was 99 and earlier, if it has the welded lines inside the tank,
Then you're
makes it
screwed.
way more complicated to change because you might need a new tank to make the carbureted setup work. If you've got the 2001 and laters, because they ran at 01
I
and
think,
02.
I think we did a 2000 recently.
It might have been 2001 and 2s, where you can use the stock tank and actually still use the stock sending unit for your fuel level, and then just convert everything else to
Put that on.
carbureted.
And yeah, you new wiring harness, new carburetor, new
Yeah.
intake. It's
And I know which carburetor I would be putting on it.
I was like stock CV carburetor.
Yeah,
like
CV
would have come on the
carb-
other ones.
CV
carburetor
carb.
ones?
Oh,
Yes.
those are great.
Yes.
But I mean, it's all about the S&S. Let's get that
Yeah.
power. Let's get that shotgun fuel in there and
I'm trying
make
to
it
remember what was on
go.
my Fat Boy. It had a different.
You had a Makuni.
Yeah,
Mikuni, which is
I have a
like that.
Makuni
Which
on my
Harley
Fat
made a
Boy.
version of the Makuni.
Makuni is a great
Makuni's great.
carburetor, and
It's a
when
good
you want
racy
to
carb.
fine-tune it,
Yeah.
that is the carburetor.
But if
to
you
go
want
with.
one that just works everywhere, no matter
And
where you
Works
live,
everywhere,
the
every
CV.
time. CV.
and every
Don't
technician
ever-
should know how to work on CV.
CV, piece cake. It's
I'd
great
make it
carb.
like half a block before if I didn't turn on the fuel. Like half.
Oh
a
yeah,
block
the ball
before
on a
I did
Makuni is
right.
no.
It's very small.
As long as you're not doing the S&S of any kind, I'm gonna piss everybody off. I don't care. Working on S&S cars make me insane. You got to.
They're so easy to
No,
work.
no. The accelerator pump.
Oh, love it.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Okay,
You don't like
so-
that when you take it apart and all the little balls
No.
just go everywhere.
No, working on them.
Yeah, no.
So Phil won't do it here.
No,
Phil won't do
absolutely
it at all.
Find him on Facebook.
Phil won't do it at all.
No.
Nobody wants that SNS.
No.
And all you SNS people out there in the world can throw daggers at me all you want. I don't care. I want a carburetor that works
I
all
want
the
a
time, not just at
CV,
the
and if you got a
racetrack.
I have an
Performance twin
SNS
cam.
on all my older bikes, and they work great. I rode my 81 yesterday.
Yeah, that's
Did
fine.
perfect. Got here, got home.
I'm a
did it
CV
with-
man if I got to be carbureted.
I am.
But
Yes.
I'm none of that anyway because I like fuel
Yeah,
injection.
fuel injection.
I'm
Sorry.
pretty sure you got a fat boy. What kind of carburetor
That's
is
a
it got on?
Mikuni on that
Okay,
one.
just checking.
But yeah, I mean it works. Don't get me wrong, but I like to be able to change my carburation with my computer, and the fuel injection lets me do that.
So if you have a carburetor, keep it with the CV. If you don't have a CV, go Mikuni, obviously, because that's the best tuning available.
But back to your point from a few episodes ago,
Oh,
don't let a Mikuni sit with gas in it.
No, don't
Don't
let
let
any
any of them sit.
carburetor
You-
sit.
no.
with the gas in
you
it.
get a mile or so away from your house, turn the fuel off.
Yep.
I don't know which is worse, if you rot out a carburetor and tank to rebuild or a fuel injection system and tank. Probably the fuel injection.
Fuel injection's more expensive.
More expensive,
Yeah.
but a lot easier to work
But you
on.
can still get parts.
Well,
too,
you're just
for the
replacing
most
all the
part.
parts.
I mean, you
you
replace
throw
all
it
the
all
parts.
away
Or
and
if you
start
want
over.
to technically take it back down, I'm going to charge you 3 hours to replace to do the carburetor and do your intake seals
Yeah.
versus the fuel injector, which it's an hour and a half.
But you're buying these
But
parts
you're
are priced.
buying more
and
expensive
availability.
parts.
Some of the
Availability-
older
fuel
bikes,
pump stuff's starting to
yeah,
get
the
hard to
early
find
twin
now, yeah.
cam
I
stuff,
was-
they've gone obsolete, and there's some companies that are making repops, but even they're delayed in getting stuff, so that complicates. So again, if the bike's going to park, stabilizer for a little while, but I prefer
Try to
just
flush
drain
out
the
your
tanks and run them dry if they're
Bring it
carbed.
to us. We can.
You get it prepped for you so it's ready to sit for a
If you
while.
know it's going to be sitting, you're going to be out
Yeah.
of country for a year.
I don't like doing the keep it full of gas stuff. I just don't. That gas
Shipping
is.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just did a bike that they were shipping it, I think, over to Germany, and I had to flush everything.
Yeah, it went
takes-
dry, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it takes 2 seconds to get all the fuel
Yep.
out.
And that's the best way to do it. It's way easier to put some gas in it when you need to ride it rather than get it running again after you let it in there rotting.
Exactly.
So,
But
yeah.
definitely fuel injected.
And modern
is the way
fuel
to go.
injection has gotten
It's
so
just
smart.
so easy.
It's
It
just
does.
so easy. You can push a button.
Yeah.
You don't have to tweak the throttle.
No, I mean,
You don't have to turn a screw.
No, I think back to some of the horrible things that you used to do with some of the bolt-on weird tuning modification
Oh, do you
to
remember the
fuel
one in
injection.
the exhaust or for the fuel injection?
Oh,
Okay.
you're talking about torque
Remember
cars
when,
or
you,
something?
remember when you had to tune a magnetic Morelli? Yeah,
Oh,
replace the
yeah.
entire computer
Yeah,
and do it that way. It
yeah.
was,
And the laptop was hooked up to the computer.
yes,
I remember sitting in a side hack on a
sidecar.
sidecar and riding in a parking lot while our old shop
Live
foreman
tuning.
rode the bike while I was live tuning it from the sidecar because it wouldn't fit in the dyno room. Different times. Now you get these maps and load them in, you're Bluetoothing it to your phone, and they're pretty much ready to go for normal street riding. I'm not talking racing, but
Yeah.
for street riding
Yeah,
stuff.
Screaming Eagle
They-
Pro Tuner.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
you guys. I haven't even the new one. That's your world now. I've
Oh,
been out of it long enough where I haven't been messing with the new ones.
I love
and
it.
on the
I
phone
just
stuff.
connect it to my phone, tell it what it has, and man, you can even tune it to a T with your cell phone.
That's
It's
nice.
pretty neat. You
That's-
can go in there and
that's
customize
really nice.
maps.
Well, I mean that's the future is the end user doing things. What scares me in the technician world, but it also makes a product that people can use all the time. It's not as mysterious and enjoy. And if you're running the Harley recipes, that's the only limitation
That's
I
the
see in it.
downfall.
It's designed for Harley products, so I get a lot of customers that are going and getting aftermarket stuff to hang on those bikes and still wanting that street tuner to work with it, and it doesn't always jive quite as well.
Yeah, the cam profile would have to be really close.
Yeah, and then so
Just be careful with what you put on your bike and
Yep.
what you bring into the dealership.
And
Yep.
you get what you pay for. When
Yeah,
it comes to
yeah.
pretty much everything when it comes to parts.
yeah.
And I'm saying that as being someone who has bought a cheap part from now and then. And yeah, you get what you pay for.
I would not want to buy cheap performance or definitely not cheap tuning mechanism.
No.
I don't want anything cheap that's going
But I see
anything to do
the
with my.
plug-in stuff, the
Yeah.
leave-in stuff. I'm not a fan of
No,
it.
oh no.
I've
I've had-
ripped more of that stuff off bikes
Yeah.
over the years to go
Well,
back to
we've
stock
had customers
configurations.
That had I don't remember what brand it is, but it was one of those ones that you leave on the bike and it completely erased their ECM. So
Oh.
now they're buying a very expensive part to not have a tune anymore.
Oh, the big ones I've seen, I think these still exist. The manufacturers that have those tuning devices on them that are for self-tuning, and you put them into tuning mode to do it, and people don't realize you don't leave it in that because they think, oh, now my bike's always dialing in, and actually it's in a data collection mode, which is a really bad mapping to be running in, and all of a sudden they're wondering why they're burning holes in their pistons or melting their ACRs. So yeah, you read the instructions if you're doing it yourself, and don't want to bring it to a technician to deal with, in my opinion. So, thoughts, questions, concerns? All right, I think we have exhausted fuel injection and carburation for us, and we are looking forward to the next month of Tech Talk. Again, please send in your questions and comments. We love the response we're getting from you guys on this. It gives us a lot to talk about. We have these conversations all the time, and we, like I said, this started with us saying, hey, we should record these things, and of course the voice heard that and made it so, because he's the magic man and can do that, and we have a really good time talking about this stuff and then talking about it for all of you, and I like the comments and feedback I get from you guys. I know these guys appreciate it a lot, so feel free to keep them coming, and don't limit it. Don't think there's a dumb question. As you can see, we don't single anybody out. We're not going to say who did what or who said what. Ask away, comment away. We just want to open up the dialogue on motorcycles as much as we can because we love this product, we love this lifestyle in this industry, and we want to share it with you. So thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you next month.
Happy New Year.
Click and subscribe.